Harlequins have been smashed really hard. That's all I'm hearing.
The forums went mad, didn't they? They went mad.
Yeah, let's have a look if they've actually been hit as hard as everybody thinks. Just before we get started, guys, hit that notification bell and subscribe button just below Dan over there so you know each time we release one of these videos. And if you enjoy this style of content and this sort of in-depth discussion about different factions, this is exactly what our Discord is all about for our elite members. So if you'd like, to interact with more like-minded people in the same community and have access to me and Dan to give our opinions on these kind of things, then go over and join the elite, and you also get amazing discounts off our web store and you get to support the channel.
Of course.
Which is always really nice. Right, let's hit it off with Harlequins then. So, the nerf, the big one that everyone was talking about was the fact that your invulnerable save is worsened across the board. Every Harlequin model reduces their invulnerable save by 1. It is huge.
It is massive, and I totally agree. Like when I first heard the rumors of that happening, I was like, nah. There's no way that's true. No way. That's not happening.
So I was the other side, because I was like, a lot of these rumors that are coming out now are right.
Yes,
pretty much all of them are correct, like how we see them. So I was like, you know what? If people are saying that this is coming, I'm hearing it from 2 or 3 different reliable sources, people who have said things that have been correct before. And I'm like, oh no, this is going to be right. And I'm a Harlequin player, so I'm like, oh man, like this is going to be true. Cool.
Well, you say that, but I mean, I saw the Lions data sheet.
Oh yes,
right?
I suppose.
So since that moment, I've got trust issues. So
I was like, nothing.
No.
But yeah, I was looking at it, and I to be honest, I was on the optimistic side.
Yeah. Because
I was like, you know what, the 5-up invuln will really hurt. It lowers our survivability by like an additional 16%. Not just 16%, but an additional 16%, because the same hit rolls will be caused, the same wound rolls will be caused, and then at that point, 16% extra damage will go through our save, which is absolutely huge, Yes. That changes massively. But I was very hopeful because I was like, GW, they will notice that because they're being a lot better now. And hopefully they'll give us our Laughing God rerolls back. Like 3 plus however many you roll for. And I was like, 3 extra rerolls, that would probably make up a little bit for the fact that our invuln's been worse. And so I had faith in GW. Well, they didn't live up to that. They have our survivability is through the floor. Like our survivability is pretty much down in the dust. But I don't think they've been hit as hard as people think, because some of the earlier nerfs have now been reversed.
Yes.
They've been taken away, and some of them are quite big. You know what I mean? So the only nerfs really, so the light Sadath and the dark Sadath, their nerfs have stayed, but that's just the overall Sadath nerf for those two. They're fair, I think, except for the dark one. I think that's completely killed dark. But the light one's pretty fair.
Yeah, it was a little harsh.
Yeah, exactly. And then the Laughing God rerolls, not getting the 3 rerolls automatically.
I think it's very strange that they've nerfed the Laughing God rerolls, and then they've left the Eldar Fate dice.
The Fate dice, yeah.
Because the Fate dice are just better.
Because they're auto 6s.
It's just a better version of those Laughing God rerolls. Like, I will get them. It's not like, if I roll my Fate dice and I roll a couple that are the same, I don't get them at all. Like, that's the gamble that you're taking anyway, and it's just re-rolling. And before, the chances are, what you were re-rolling was a 4-up. Which is like 50-50 anyway. But then,
this is why I thought they were fair.
Yeah.
Like having 3 plus whatever you roll for. So 5 normally, because you normally roll 2 dice, just to be safe. So you normally have 5 re-rolls. And to me, that was about fair. Like 4 dice that can automatically be 6s, but they're rolled for randomly, what you can use them for, compared to 5 dice that you have to roll the result for, but you can choose whatever you want to roll them for. So I thought it was like the opposite way, and I thought that was about right.
I thought it was,
them being nerfed, I
don't think they were ever the issue.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
I totally agree with that. They were never the issue. They shouldn't have been taken away. But yeah, the light and dark Sadath and the Laughing God rerolls, those are the only nerfs that stayed, and then they've added this 5-up invuln nerf. Yes. Which is pretty big. And then other than that, Deadly Performance got like a notch down, because it's like now a core unit has to be the unit in your opponent's deployment zone, but only that bullet point. Like, I would argue that 2 bullet points have gone easier. So that one's harder because we have to do it with a Troupe unit essentially, or a bike unit. We can no longer do Deadly Performance in our opponent's deployment zone, being one of the one of the requisitions for it with a boat. Basically, it has to be done with...
Which is what was happening a lot of the time, let's be honest.
So we've got to change the way that we do that a little bit. But I think the other 2 points in it, so holding the objective is exactly the same, but the other 2 points in there where you've got to kill 2 units, with range attacks or kill 2 units with melee attacks, I feel like that's gotten easier with Armor of Contempt.
Yeah.
Because, and the reason why we keep talking about Armor of Contempt, guys, is because you might be sitting there going, well, loads of armies don't have Armor of Contempt. Yes, but a few do. And those are going to be at the top of the meta right now.
Yes. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Marines, all different types of Marines, flavors of Marines will be at the top of the meta right now.
Yeah.
So you go to events, you will see them on the top tables.
And you've got to remember as well, it was Marines and Chaos.
Yes.
And then, and Guard tanks.
Sisters.
And Sisters.
There's a lot.
So, what does that leave? Like, it leaves a few Xenos things, but how often were you seeing Orcs? How often are you now going to see Tyranids?
Yes, exactly.
So it's affected a lot of them, like a big chunk of it.
Yeah, so I think it's easier for you to kill things now. So I actually think overall Deadly Pawns has gone a little bit easier in my opinion. So I don't think that's a nerf. And then the rest of it's all like good stuff. Like behind enemy lines, for example, you're taking that all the time anyway. It combos really well with Deadly Performance because, again, you want to get into your opponent's deployment zone. And it incentivizes you even more to do it with a core unit now because if you do it with a troop unit, you gain a CP. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you get a troop unit in there, you gain a CP, you probably get 4 points for behind enemy lines because you'll have your boat and your troop unit there.
Yeah.
So then you get 4 points for that. You get 3 points on Deadly Performance. It all intertwines so well and you get a CP. So I think behind enemy lines was a gift. That going to 3... it was just a gift.
It was a huge buff. And then, while we're talking about the buffs as well, the one thing I did want to point out is one thing kind of, me and you, I think we're kind of talking about it and we both kind of came to the conclusion at the same time. With the 5-up invuln, and you go, yes, it's bad. It's an additional third of the damage and all that kind of stuff. But then, we were like, how often are you just standing boats out in the open? Yeah. How often are you standing Harlequins out in the open? So, and this is the thing, so the way, because I've played Eldar quite a lot, the way you tend to think about it is you go, I'm going to send this unit out to kill that unit or to score those points or whatever. After that, there's no hopes of that unit coming back.
Dead to me.
Like, they're gone, right? They're dead. You've accepted they're already dead. It might take them, they might kill them a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
But if they can't see anything else,
they won't kill anything else.
Then what difference does it make?
It is true.
And that is the way to look at it with the 5-up invuln is, yes, it does hurt. Yes, you will die a bit quicker. But you're just sitting behind walls going out, like, because you've got so much speed. You're going out, you're reaching out to kill things and reaching out to score points. So chances are, they're not going to kill an extra third because they can't see anything else.
Yeah.
So that's the way to think about that 5-up invuln. And then you realise then that they're still very good.
That's the thing, yeah. It's not as big of a hit as everyone's thinking. It's basically like, I think it's just a bit of like a panic reaction.
Yeah.
Because people that have Harlequins armies tend to have really nice armies that they've spent a lot of time on.
Yes.
And your whole army is like 4 or 5 data sheets. And then for the entire thing, it's not like, oh, this data sheet has a 5-up invuln now. It's like the entire thing. I think people just gone into panic mode and gone, oh, my whole army's rubbish now.
Yeah.
So just think about it, guys. Sit down a little bit, watch this video, or recommend it to your friends if they play Harlequins. And they're not dead. They're not dead by any means. I still think, and I'm going to chuck this in here rather than at the end of the video, just, to let people know, I think Harlequins are still A tier.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. They're not S tier anymore, but they're still A tier. They're up there. They're above B. They're above mid tier. They are still upper tier, in my opinion. I think they're very good. They're scoring like we're talking about right now. Their scoring is through the roof.
Yeah.
And it's only gotten easier.
Yeah.
Behind enemy lines being 3 points now, and then 4 for 2, and giving you the CP on troops is just insane.
Yeah.
I think it's really good. So, yeah, don't think that they're dead by any means. And then a couple of tech pieces that we want to talk about is some things that have been brought back. Mr. Mirror Shadowseer is back.
Yeah. I didn't even think about it because the nerfs have been gone for so long. I forgot they even existed in the first place.
And that's it. Those nerfs have been taken away. So the Shadowseer's Mirror Architect nerf that it was like he could only pick a core unit for it to go on, and he had to choose what. How big of a nerf was that? Yeah. Choose one unit that's core. And, you measure minus 6-inch range from all of those. But now it's gone back to an aura of 6 inches,
Yeah.
counting on everyone. So even your boats get mirror architect again, which is you reduce the range that you increase the range of the distance between you by 6 when you're measuring. So you go, oh, I'm within 7 of you. That means I'm actually counting as being within 13 and stuff like that. So like things go out of range, guys. Like it's really important. Like Marines right now, remember, like Blood Angels are gonna come back. They've seen points drops across the board. Death Company are now dirt cheap. Sanguinary Guard are still super efficient. All these things. Their Inferno pistols have become free. So there'll be Inferno pistols everywhere. Like 200 points worth of Inferno pistols free in a list now. But guess what? They become range 0 against you. If they go, oh, I'm 1.5 inches away, you go, yeah, but you're actually 7.5 inches away. So, you know, can never shoot me with your pistols unless you're in combat with me.
So could you? Right, here's a question for you. If you're in combat with a boat and you're touching the base,
then you could shoot.
Do you reckon you could shoot? Because it's 0 inches.
Because, it's 0 inches. I don't know.
I have no
I
idea.
have no
actually.
idea.
That's never come up before.
See, so that's the kind of thing. I think that makes a huge difference, more than people are realizing.
It does. So I remember when I first saw that, and I remember you going, "Oh, that's massive."
Yes.
That's like when the Harlequin book first dropped. That's huge, and I was like, "Oh, it's only 6 inches. It's not that big." And then I played a game against it, and just. It's so surprising how everything just goes out of range.
Yeah.
Anything that you're planning to come in with deep strike and like hit with these sort of short
like
range guns.
I'm going to deep strike 9 away. I'm going to flame you. You go, well, you deep strike 9 away. You're actually 15 away. So all your flames are out of range.
And it's just all the time. Even like your 24-inch guns that you're moving 6 to get in range, and then you're like, oh, I've moved 6, but I was out of range, so I'm not in range anymore. And yeah, there's just and then Overwatch as well. Because it makes a difference in Overwatch. So you go to send these Harlequins in, and I went, okay, then I'm going to flame them. And he was like, what, with your 3-inch flamers?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh no!
It's huge. Absolutely massive.
Yeah.
And like you combo it with light, and I've done this before, and it's just like, it throws people off their game so hard. Like I've had a person come down and then go, okay, I'm going to shoot your boat. And then I go, well, Mirror Architect, so you're out of range with your guns, right? And then they go, oh, bloody hell, I forgot that. And then they go, oh, don't worry, I'll just charge you instead. And then you go, move 6 inches away, you can't charge me anymore either. And then they're like, oh, man. And then they've got this unit that's come down, they've not been able to shoot, they've not been able to charge, and they've just died for free. It is really big, you know? So these kind of little tech pieces, guys, that coming back's huge. Now, it is 160 points now. That is something to think about, right? It's gone from a 25-point upgrade to a 60-point upgrade on your Shadowseer.
Yeah.
Very expensive. Now, in my opinion, I would pretty much only be using him with light, because I think you need the Shadow Stone on him. Is it called the Shadow Stone? I think it's called the Shadow Stone. There's a relic that you can give Shadowseer, guys. It increases his range of all of his auras by 3 inches. So I think you need that to make full use of this. I think you need a 9-inch bubble of this, because you're not taking Void Weavers anymore. Like when I was first playing, I was taking Void Weaver heavy lists with only a few Star Weavers back when the book first came out. And then the 6-inch aura was okay, because you know you could have one Void Weaver in 6 inches, another one 2 from him, another one 2 from, and you were 21 inches away from the Shadowseer with you know minus 6-inch range on you. So it was okay back then. But now you're all Star Weavers. You want to be a bit more spread out, holding multiple objectives. You kind of need that 9-inch aura on him, in my opinion.
Definitely.
So I think you need to be playing him in light if you want to play him. I wouldn't think he's worth it if you're going to go Dark or Twilight. Personally, I think it's too expensive for those arms.
It does, yeah. It is horrifically expensive, I do agree. But it depends what you start seeing in the meta.
Yeah, that is very true.
Think of all these Stern Guard that are coming down in pods with their 12-inch melters and, you know, all that. If that's what you're seeing constantly...
I wish we would have got this back in the last one. Because one of the banes of Harlequins have been Zinch Flamers. And we're going to talk about that in a minute for sure. The other thing, so this guy's a huge tech piece. The other thing, now this is my favourite thing. The DJ's back.
Yeah.
The DJ is back.
There were so many complaints about him. I'm really surprised they brought him back.
That's it, man.
Yeah.
Shegarak's DJ is back.
He is brutal.
Yeah, so this is the Death Jester who you buy a Warlord trait for, the Favour of Shegarak. And what that does is you spend, when you shoot, you can change one of your hit rolls to a 6. It could be like a hit roll, wound roll, save roll, something like that. But you use it on a hit roll, because what you've also done is you've bought him the Harvester of Torment. Now, GW have realized that this guy's bonkers, of course, so they've put his pivotal roll up as well. The only two that changed were Mirror Architect and Harvester of Torment, and they are the best too.
Yeah.
So Harvester of Torment is every time he rolls a 6 to hit, he gets 3 additional hits. So every 6 is 4 hits, basically. And he's got 3 shots. So every 6 is 4 hits. And then that Warlord trait makes you change one of your hit rolls to a 6.
Yes.
So
and you change it. That's the thing. You can't just go, oh, I'll
this will be a 6, then I'll roll. You're like, no, I'll roll it.
Roll
first.
it. Yeah. So you're not like going, this will be a 6, then rolling 2. You're rolling 3.
Yeah.
So you got like a 50-50 chance of getting a 6 there anyway. Then you change 1 to a 6 as well. That gives you like 9 hits.
This is the biggest thing about it. So when you're rolling 3 dice to roll to hit, 50% of the time you'll roll a 6, and 50% of the time you'll roll a 1. So what you look at is you go, on the 50% of the times that I've rolled a 6, I've changed another dice to a 6, so I got 9 hits. 3 shots, 9 hits. Now the other 50% of the time you go, all right, I haven't rolled a 6, but I've rolled a 1. That 1 is my 6.
Yes.
So now I've got 6 hits from 3 shots. So it doesn't matter what happens. You get 3 shots, you're either going to get 6 hits or 9 hits. He is bonkers.
And don't forget, this guy is a sniper.
Yes.
Right?
You target characters.
He's a sniper that's going, oh yeah, that character over there that you're really relying on, 9 hits.
Him, 9 hits.
With my flat 2 damage weapon. That's why everyone was like, this is crazy, man.
Yeah.
As soon as my character even pops his head out, he just gets it blown off by this character that can sit in a
boat.
Star Weaver and go, okay, I'll move 22 inches over here, and now I'll shoot your character. It's so hard to keep them safe.
Yeah.
And he's brutal.
Yeah, he's an absolute beast, man. And his weapon is assault as well. So if you need, he can get out of a boat, he can move, he can advance, get to a good spot, and he can snipe from there.
Yep.
He's amazing. And this is the thing, guys, is he's gone from like 75 points to 110 with this upgrade, but it's worth it. Like, Armor of Contempt's gone now. He literally can kill like 5 Marines. So I used one, actually, guys. I played against David's Iron Hands.
Yes.
David was using Iron Hands because they're all the craze right now. And I was trying the Harlequins out to see if they still work. I put this DJ in, put the Shadowseer in. Now, the Shadowseer didn't work too well because I wasn't playing light.
Yeah.
So that's where I was like, okay, maybe he's not worth it if you don't play light. However, the Death Jester. So he killed nothing turn 1 because he couldn't see anything. Then he proceeded to kill 3 Vanguard in turn 2, 4 Vanguard in turn 3, an entire Devastator unit in turn 4, and a Librarian in turn 5.
Oh, cool.
And I was like, he's killed about 300 points.
Yes, he's only tripled his points.
He's only tripled his points. Like, no big deal.
It's average.
Yeah. Now, I'm super happy that we've got him back. Like, as a Harlequin player, I'm super happy we've got him back because he is bollocks good. Like, genuinely, he is bollocks good. But we shouldn't have got him back.
Yeah.
I don't think he was healthy for the game.
Because there were so many complaints about him. I was really surprised he came back.
I'm really surprised he came back. The Mirror Architect I could see.
Yeah.
Because it's really expensive now. You're pretty much sacrificing a boat full of stuff to take that aura to protect other boats, which I think is a fair trade. But this guy, GW, man, you shouldn't have given us this guy back. You should not have given us this guy back. So guys, everybody take him. He's just worth it. Doesn't matter what you're playing, dark, twilight, light, he's worth it in everything.
He is.
100% worth it in everything.
And now you've got the CPs to spend on relics and warlord traits.
Yes.
Because you're not taking that extra outrider.
Because the Arks of Omen detachment is helping out loads. That's the other thing to think about, right? Like you say, man, paying for that patrol, but you're down to 4 straight away. Then you got to think about it. Then you go, if I want to Phantasm, I've got to only have 1 warlord trait, 1 relic.
Exactly.
And you're like, oh, this is so.
But there are other characters that you want to put warlord traits and relics on, aren't there, man?
Exactly. You want your Troupe Masters.
Oh, how was that for a lead in there? That was smooth, man. I like that.
But yeah, the biggest thing is you only got to take 1 HQ now.
Yes.
And that was massive before. Yep. Having to take 3 to get your troop slots was harsh.
Yeah.
It was harsh. Because, like Dan said, you use the CPs to take the patrol, and then you don't have enough CPs to tool all your characters up.
Yeah.
So you're taking some pointless characters. But these Troupe Masters, they can be made amazing.
Oh, yeah.
So, guys, if you're playing Harlequins, the Troupe Masters, I think, are even better now because, again, like we keep coming back to, Armor of Contempt being gone, Troupe Masters become even more deadly now. They do kill Marines very well.
I did find that because I was playing Harlequins with the Armor of Contempt in play. and I would go into just like 5 strike marines. And I'd be like, oh yeah, man, this troop master's badass. And then he kills 2 of them, and then they kill him back. And I was like, oh, okay, then yeah, it made a big difference to him. But yeah, he'll just go out and start shredding stuff now.
Yeah,
it's a huge jump now that Armor Contempt's gone for him because he gets wherever he needs to be.
Yeah. And this is what I want to talk about. I just want to talk about these troop masters now, how you should be kitting them out as well. We've spoken about the Death Jester, the Shadowseer. This is what you should be doing with your troop masters. Now, the first one is a troop master, which I think is good for all 3 Sadafs.
Yes.
This guy's just the overall GOAT. He's the one you take, man.
Yes.
But then there's another one I want to talk about, which is which is really good for Twilight, almost as good for Dark, but then you don't bother with him if you're going light. Like, there's no point. So the first one, this is the big boy. The Foot in the Future Troop Master. So Troop Masters are just good anyway. Like, their stats are fairly good. They're quick.
Yes.
They're quick. And the Foot in the Future makes him insanely quick. So basically what this Warlord trait does is it lets him advance D3 plus 3 instead of D6. So it means you're always going 4, minimum 4. And you're getting
Really
out of a
reliable.
boat 3 inches, you're getting 3 inches out, you're advancing minimum 4. If you roll a 1 or a 2, you're going 4 inches. So that's already 7 inches. You add your 8-inch move, you go, I'm going 15. Minimum 15 inches out of this boat, right? So averagely 16. You're going to move out of this boat 16 inches, and then you're going to charge. But it also lets you add 6 to your charge roll. That's the bit that's bonkers to me. Like, not even change a dice to a 6. Add 6. You get both of your dice, and then you add 6 to this. Now I see why Laughing God rerolls can't be used on charge rolls.
Yes.
Like, whoa, man, that would be insane. So this guy is, so even if you roll a double 1, he charges something within 9 inches of him.
Yeah.
So, when he's getting 16 inches out of a boat, so if you were within 25 of something at the start of the movement phase, a double 1 charge is going to get you in.
That's how I used to describe it to people, because I was like, please don't underestimate how quick this guy is. I was like, if you're within 25 of this boat,
It's an auto charge.
he will auto charge you, and he can go further.
Yeah.
So I was like, just be careful, man, because he will get you.
Yeah, that is pretty crazy, man. So that's what Foot in the Future does. But then you give him Shegarak's Rose, and Shegarak's Rose is on him. It's absolutely amazing because he can be used as this sort of missile that goes out there and gets into whatever he wants to. It makes him Strength 5, -2 AP, -3 on Dark, an extra attack on Twilight, all these things, -2, flat 3 damage. With full rerolls to wound. That's the magic. That's the source there, man. The full rerolls to wound is what's forcing it through. Because Strength 5 isn't the best strength, but we've seen what Lightning Claws do at Strength 4. And this is basically a flat 3 damage Lightning Claw. What's not to like? And it's Strength 5, right? So I really like it. I think he's great in whatever. Whatever.
Wicked at character sniping. I've used him so many times for that. He just goes out. There's this psyker there that like you don't like, that's denying your powers, or there's some guy that's giving rerolls to a squad or whatever, and you just go, go and sort that out, mate. And he just powers on through and gets the job done. And
this is the thing: if it's something that you want to kill, that's there, that you're reaching into your opponent's deployment zone to do it, at that point you can go, he's not behind enemy lines for the turn. I don't have to sacrifice anything this turn. And it's giving me 3 now on behind enemy lines for going and sniping this thing out that I want him to.
I used to use him quite a lot to do the deadly performance turn 1.
Oh, yes.
Because sometimes it was quite difficult, and if I didn't need him for the rest of the game, I'd be like, go on then. Go on, get me my deadly performance.
And that's the thing, guys. Like, we've lost the deadly performance bit on him. Like, you can't do the deadly performance bit, but now behind enemy lines is worth 4 points.
Exactly,
it's just the same. He's still getting so many points, but then he could kill things in combat. And you go, there's my deadly performance, So I think he's just amazing no matter which one you take. And then the second Troop Master, I would only play if I was going Dark or Twilight. There's 2 ways you build him. So the build I like the most is the Twilight build. I think that one is slightly more efficient because he ends up getting quite a few. Well, it's not slightly more efficient. It's quite a bit more efficient because he ends up getting a fair few more attacks. So you build this guy, you just take Troop Master, and then you take the Twilight Fang on him. So this guy doesn't even need a Warlord trait. You can pull Foot in the Future in this guy if you want to, but I prefer that on the Rose guy because this way you get 2 good Troop Masters in Dark and Twilight. Now in Twilight, you give him the Twilight Fang, which of course only Twilight can take. It's their relic. But this sword, it gives you +2 strength, same as the Rose, but then it gives you -3 AP, 2 damage, right? So what I really like about the sword is that you get an extra attack for whatever battle round it is.
Yeah.
Right? So in battle round 3, he gets +3 attacks. And for being Twilight, he already gets another attack. And I believe they have 6 on their profile. So like, it's turn 3. He's got 10 attacks.
Yeah.
Right? And then you go, okay, it is only strength 5 though, but you get around that by giving him the Veiled King pivotal roll.
Yep.
So this guy runs in there, he goes, I've got 10 attacks. I hit you on 2s. And now if you're not a vehicle or a monster, I'm winning you on 2s.
Yeah.
This is your Marine killer, guys.
Yes.
So if you want to shoot in there, kill 5 Vanguard veterans behind a wall, he'll do that.
Yeah.
He'll go over, he'll go, oh, I've got 9 hits. I've got 8 wounds.
Yeah.
That's 6 up saves.
Because Twilight are getting the extra attack, right? So that's forcing that extra 2 damage through if you need to. But then Dark, if you do it the Dark way, they're getting the extra AP.
Yes.
So getting through that armor save. So either one of them will go and clear like 5 Vanguard.
Yes, because that's why if you're going to go Dark, you give the storied sword because obviously you can't take the Twilight Fang. But the storied sword is just as good. It just doesn't give you all those extra attacks.
Yeah.
So he's a little bit less reliable because he's only got the 6 attacks.
He's putting them on a 6 up save though, right? Where instead of the 5 up. So it does kind of balance out.
Oh no, because the Twilight Fang is innately -3. So the Twilight guy with the Fang
I didn't realise that was -3.
That's what I mean. He's quite a bit better just because he gets like the extra attacks and also he's -3.
Yeah, okay.
You know, which you don't really get on Twilight or like you don't really get that outside of Dark.
That's nice.
That's why I like him. I think that Twilight Fang guy is money. So be tooling your troop masters up like that, guys. And then really the only thing after that was like, what was bad? What was bad for Harlequins? If you look at the factions that were good just like 2 months ago, you look at those and the ones at the top were actually bad for Harlequins, you know, but they're not as bad anymore. I don't want to say they're gone because one of them's not gone. One of them is. So Tyranids was arguably the worst matchup for Harlequins.
That's what I found, yeah.
Because of all the mortals. Yeah. Like the free spore mines they were getting everywhere.
Yeah.
And it hurts with Harlequins, you know, like some armies, like play the Tyranid mirror or Orcs and you go, oh, my 30-man unit lost 2 dudes. Oh no, big whoop-de-doo. And then you go, oh man, my 2 Harlequins that are 25 points each have just died. To a mucilid spore.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, to a free spore. But it was loads of things. Like you had that tyrant that was coming out that could quite easily kill a boat. You had all the mortals from the psychic powers. They were opening boats. You had pyrovores that were just ignoring all your hit modifiers. Like whatever answer, whatever was bad for Quins, in their like meta list they had.
Yes.
They had it there. And so any kind of to be able to go out and hold an objective or to try and stay in a part of the board was just impossible because their speed as well.
Yeah,
they could get wherever they needed to be, and it was hard.
That was the problem. Like Tyranids were so good against Harlequins, and they're now dead. Bugs got squished, guys. If you didn't get the memo, Bugs got squished. So they're gone. They're not going to hurt Harlequins anymore. And the other bad matchup was Thousand Sons with Flamers. Right, it was the combo. So I've played pure Harlequins. Against pure Thousand Sons a couple of times before the nerfs to Flamers. And actually I found that it was a very balanced game, sometimes slightly in the Harlequins' favour, sometimes slightly in the Thousand Sons favour. But then you had the Flamers into the Thousand Sons, and it just tipped the scales the Thousand Sons' way. You know what I mean? It became a bad matchup for Harlequins. Not completely bad, like you could still fight into it, which is what I found a couple of times, but it just made it such an uphill battle.
Yes.
But the nerf to Flamers is huge. So not only can Thousand Sons not have triple Flamers anymore, you can only have double because you can only take an allied patrol. Nice. So that's cut 1/3 of their Flamers away.
Yep.
And then the 2/3 they have left have halved in efficiency. So essentially they have 1/3 of the Flamers they had before. Slightly less, you know what I mean? Like that's all they got now, because now you got to roll to hit with Flamers. And before they were popping boats like this, man. Like 5 Flamers would pop a boat. Like averagely. Like over pop a boat. Like 8-9 moves go through.
You could probably just split them at that point, right? Just go that boat and that boat. And the chances are you'll pop them both.
Yeah, that's what people used to do. And they used to pop, or they'd come damn near close popping the second one. But now, a unit of 5 Flamers gets 18 plus 15 shots averagely. It's 33. At that point, they're getting 32 hits because not only they've got to roll to hit, but you're -1 to hit. And they're not allowed to get their rerolls from their Demon Prince or whatever.
Yes.
So it cuts their efficiency in half. So 32 shots, 16 hits, 8 wounds. 4 go through. They half kill a boat now.
Yeah.
Like instead of overkilling and almost killing 2 boats, they kill half of one.
Yep.
The efficiency, the scare is not there anymore.
Yeah.
And you were saying Overwatch.
Oh yes,
Absolutely massive. They're going to roll to hit on Overwatch. Now.
Yeah, rolling to hit on Overwatch was huge because that was like these things would come out and they'd murder everything. And then as a Harlequin player, you can't shoot them because they've got a 3-up demon save. So you've got to go in and charge them. And then, to go it like with just having the toughness 3 and just the 4-up invuln. I moved my Harlequins in to go and deal with them. And I was like, oh, they're just going to roast me in Overwatch.
Yeah.
I had to use my foot in the future guy to get in behind a wall that was 9 inches away, make the charge in to clear so my Harlequins could go in.
You don't want to have to do that.
And I don't want to I didn't want to have to sacrifice him to do that. I wanted him to go after a demon prince or like some cool character. Exactly. But I had to use him to do it, which sucked. But yeah, that having that Overwatch like nerfed down to the point where they're even like, oh yeah, okay, I can get like 6 hits or something like that with it, or 5 or 6 hits, but then at least they're killing like 2 or 3 Harlequins and not your entire squad. Like it was just auto before. There was no.
Because this is the thing, guys. Here's a little tip for like all you Harlequin players out there. So this is what I've been doing. You notice that your lead player in your troop squads, in your troop infantry squads, doesn't have any benefit over any other troop in the squad. They have the same amount of attacks. They even have the same leadership, same weapon skill, everything. The only difference is he has 2 wounds. Like literally the only difference is he has 2 wounds. So he's worth nothing to your squad because it's not like he keeps them there a bit by being an extra leadership or anything like that, and no extra attacks, like we said. So what you want to do is you want to kit the other 4 guys out. So this is how I've been playing my Harlequins now with the new updates, and it's like 4 guys in each unit, or unit of 5, with like the combat weapons, and that's where you put all 4 good pistols, 4 neuros, 2 neuro, 2 fusion. Put it on those 4 guys. Then you don't take any upgrades on your sergeant, and it's for things like this. You get Overwatched by something like Flamers now, and you fell like 2 saves on Harlequins. You've only lost your sergeant, who means nothing. So you've lost nothing. It's basically a wasted Overwatch. And that's the kind of situation you want to be in.
Yeah.
Right? You don't want to be losing the good stuff. So just use him as ablative wounds for the rest of your squad because he has more ablative wounds to give away. So yeah, that's a nice little thing you want there. And like we say, man, the worst matchups for them have toned down, either gone or toned down.
Yes, yeah.
So that's why I think Harlequins are still right up there. Yep. Now, we just wanted to give a mention of a few stratagems that are really key to Harlequins that you should be using as you're playing them to get the most out of your units. And my favourite one is the curtain falls. Yeah, that's my favourite stratagem. I think it's great because it lets you use units again. Yeah, like you don't just send that unit in and they're gone. Basically, the curtain falls. What it lets you do is after you fight in the fight phase, a unit that is wholly within 6 inches of a transport, 6 inches. Yeah. 3. 6. Unit that is wholly within 6 inches of a transport can get back in. So this is so deadly.
And this is before they attack back as well.
Oh yeah, before they hit you.
So you hit them for free.
It's like when you consolidate.
Yeah. And do you know the sweet spot with this stratagem, right? And if you really want to frustrate your opponents, what I used to do was I'd have the boat, then they'd get out, they'd advance, right? Then I'd move the boat behind them, but the boat next to a wall. Right?
Yes.
But the boat next to a wall. Then that Harlequin squad fights, probably kills whatever it's fighting. Then you get it back into the boat, backwards into the boat 6 inches.
Behind the wall.
Then they're like, right, they've got to die because they're killing my army. So they try and pop the boat, say they kill the boat, then the Harlequins get out back behind the wall.
Yeah, on the other side of the wall again.
And then they're like, oh my God, I can't see those Harlequins now. Now they're going to come in again next turn. It's awesome. That's huge. Use that stratagem correctly and it is the most frustrating thing for your opponents.
And this is where you go, like, this is where the source comes in. This is where you're like, that fan guy is so crucial to me in this game because of, like, the Iron Hands. He's what goes in and kills them, right? 5 Vanguard behind the wall. Put your Star Weaver on the other side of the wall, like Dan's saying. Charge him with the fan guy, kill the squad of Vanguard, jump back in. Yep. Yeah. And go, now you got to come dig me out. I'm doing it again next turn.
Yeah. And to open a boat, to open a -1 to hit, no rerolls, 5-up invuln boat. And then kill the character,
then kill the squad that's come out around the character.
Then kill the squad.
And then kill the character.
It's a lot.
It is a lot.
It's a lot. And people underestimate how much firepower
when it's behind a wall as well, people underestimate how much firepower they can get. They overestimate how much firepower they can get in. Yeah. I could get a lot to see that. And then all of a sudden, because he's like, oh, you charge my Vanguard, you're on this side of the wall. I can get like 8 units to shoot you there. And you go, what about if I leave my boat on my side of the wall? Hit you, jump back into the boat on my side of the wall. Now maybe you can get 2 units in. Yeah. And you're like, You're not killing the Troupe Master anymore.
Yeah.
And he's coming out again, right? And then what he does is he zones an area of the board off where your opponent's like, I can't go there. With this important unit, I can't go there.
Yeah.
If I go within 20 inches of that boat, they're dead.
Yeah.
And that's huge. Like we've spoken about it before, deading areas off the board off that people can't go into, like kill zones, really changes people's mentality and the way they play that game.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. So that's a really cool stratagem. And then you were talking about one now that you only have to take one HQ and you don't have to take all your troops in boats anymore, because now you can go like, I'll have 8 boats full of troops, but I'll also take 2 squads of troops on foot. And that works. And you were talking about the stratagem, the virtuosos.
Oh, you mean the sending them back in?
Yeah.
It's absolutely massive. I used it like most turns because remember I was going for behind enemy lines and you've got deadly performance. So like
and R&D.
Yes,
it's like a triple scorer.
So like whenever Manny writes a list, he's tooling up every squad with everything like typical Manny, like max damage.
Every squad will do damage.
Whereas I used to take a couple of like squads with nothing on them, and they would like rod for me in my own turn, in my own deployment zone. Then you stick them in the webway, and then they can come back down. They can get behind enemy lines, deadly performance, rod again, and then also as well when you're sticking them in reserve, you don't have to bring them down the turn after. You can leave them there. So you put them in reserve, and then your opponent will go, "Well, I'm not letting you do that," and they screen their deployment zone out, and you just go, "Okay, I just won't bring them down then." And then they're like, oh, I have to screen my deployment zone out for the entire game if I want to stop you doing it. And it's pretty much impossible to do that. It's to screen your own deployment zone for an entire game is very, very hard. So, and I just go, I'll wait for you to move them, or I'll wait to kill that unit that's back there with a bunch of shuriken cannons when I move my boats in or something like that, and then I'll deep strike in there.
Exactly.
So it's really important, especially with behind enemy lines now. With it needing to be core for deadly performance and behind enemy lines, you get the CP for it being a troop unit. Massive scrap.
And this is the thing. I think right now what you want to be doing, because you have to give less boats away to score your points now, like because they're so easy, like behind enemy lines, and deadly performance are very, very easy now. And like we say, because you only have to take less characters, less HQ slots, you've got the points to be able to take these extra units on foot with no upgrades that are purely there to play the mission and action monkeys and do stuff like that for you. I feel like now the sweet spot is like 8 tooled up boats. Like I'm talking about like 200-point boats where like you've got your Star Weaver, then inside you have, like we were talking about, a squad of 5 with 4 guys that have got 4 combat weapons, like 2 kisses, a crest and an embrace, and then 2 neuro pistols, 2 fusion pistols. On those 4 guys, and then a pleb, a sergeant with nothing. That you want those tooled up boats, fully armed to the teeth, 200-point boats, and you want like 8 of them. And that's like 1,600 points of your army. And I feel like that's how you got to play, because the damage output is there when you take that many of them. And also the scoring element is there when you take that many of them, along with the other 400 points of what you can take. Now, this 400 points is, I think, where it varies a little bit, because you want the Death Jester.
Yeah.
He's amazing. And I think you want a unit of 2 bikes. You want a unit of 2 bikes. We'll talk about that in just a second, why they're there. That'll be the last thing we cover. But you want a unit of 2 bikes and you want the Death Jester. Then the last 200, 250 points, this is where you go, do I want like 2 units naked of troop on foot and 1 troop master? Or do I want the 2 badass troop masters and then 1 naked unit on foot? Like that's where you got to make the choice there on what you want to do with that. It's only the last little bit, I think, really, because the 8 boats and that Death Jester and the bikes, I think those are crucial. Crucial. And then at least 1 troop master, like a badass one. He's just the go-to character now, I think. And then your choice is just how many units on foot you're going to take to help you play the mission, and whether you think the second character is worth more than a squad on foot. And that's the only choice you've got to make, really. And I think that's a really competitive list.
Yes.
And it's still going to perform really,
that will do very well in a tournament.
Yeah. The final thing we just wanted to say is that unit of bikes. Why that unit of bikes is so good, the 2-man unit bikes. And it's because one stratagem we haven't talked about is Fire and Fade.
Yeah.
Fire and Fade. And it's back to being as many turns as you want now.
Yes.
Not just once only.
Yeah, it's big. It's useful for Harlequins. The only problem with it is its cost. It being 2 CPs does suck for Harlequins because you want to spend so many CPs on other things.
But then the things like the behind enemy lines giving you CPs extra ones now as well. It just helps with it.
Yeah, it definitely does. Yeah, and I said, it's great for Harlequins when you need to get like kind of just over that line or just onto that objective or whatever it may be. So it is very useful. Yeah, just remember that has you can now use it as many times as you want. You're not limited to just the once.
Because now you could do some horrible things with it, with that Death Jester coming back. Like, for example, you would go, all right, my bikes are going to fire and fade turn 1. They're going to move 22 forward. They're going to shoot. They're going to fire and fade into your deployment zone. There's behind enemy lines turn 1. And deadly performance. Like, that's what you would do with them typically. But then you're like, that's my 1 fire and fade gone. Don't have it anymore. But at some crucial point in the game, someone pokes a character out, you go, okay, my Death Jester's going to come out. And they go, yeah, you've got to come out to see me. And you go, yeah, no problem. I'll come out, shoot my Death Jester, and then I'll move 7 behind the wall.
Yeah.
It's so big. Fire and fade is massive for things like that. You can play some really nice tricks with
Now,
that.
I'm right in thinking as well, right? Let's say they move their character right back. They're like, oh man, I really don't want to get shot by that Death Jester. So he's in the boat. So you move forward, you shoot the boat.
Yeah, then the boat fire and fades.
Then the boat fire and
Then he
fades,
shoots.
7. Then he shoots. And then they're like, oh God. So now you... you can't
now
stop
you're
moving crazy amounts of movement just to... And all you got to do is see the little feather in his cap. And then you just blow his head off with 9 hits.
So yeah, there you have it, guys. That is Faction Focus Harlequin. So the answer to the question at the start, no. Harlequins are not crap now. Harlequins are still very much incredible.
Yeah, they are.
I think so. They're still A tier. That's what we think. They're up there. They're A tier, and they're still going to be, you know, on the top tables at tournaments. Definitely. I think rocking it up. So hopefully you guys have learned a lot here, and you know you've got some things to take away there. And like we say, guys, we only have a certain amount of time to cover the content in this video. So if there's any like tips or tricks that we've missed here that you think would be, you know, beneficial for other people to know, other Harlequin players, leave them in the comments below, guys, because it's really cool when you guys also add your input, and then the wider community gets to, you know, it becomes like a source of good material for Harlequin players to refer to then when they come to the video. Not only can they listen to the things that we talk about, but they can go down into the chat, into the comments, and they can see what other Harlequin players have experienced that are good units and tips and tricks for them. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, guys. And remember what we said at the start. If you've watched this far and you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, notifications bell in the corner over there. And if you enjoy this style of content and you'd like more in-depth analysis like this and access to talk to us all the time and other like-minded players, because we have basically a Discord channel which is for elite members only, and in there are channels for every single faction that like-minded players will post lists in and give advice to other players as well as amazing discounts on our web store. And of course, you get to support the channel. Go over to glasshammergaming.co.uk and join the elite. And we'll catch you next week with another video. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Live stream Warhammer 40k games, meta-analysis, tournament reports. Hi guys, I'm Manny. I am one of the co-founders of Glasshammer Gaming. I'm one of the current top 5 ranked ITC players in the world, and I play for my international team, Team England, and we are the current reigning world champions. So we started Glasshammer Gaming at the start because we play a very high level, and we realized that a lot of content creators online were more narrative and not really focused on the competitive aspect of the game, and we thought it'd be really cool if we made battle reports, live streams and tactics videos to help players improve in their competitive game, and also for people who are looking to start getting into competitive play, help them along the way and give them some tips. We also have an elite service, and if you join up, you get more in-depth meta-analysis, competitive tournament reports, and even bigger discounts on our store, which are incredible in the first place, and you're basically getting some of the best discounts in the world. If you join up, you also get access to our Discord server, where there are lots of like-minded people who also want to be very competitive and play to the best of their ability, and you'll be added in there with all of them. There are different channels for every army, every faction, so you can talk to other players who play the same armies as you and improve together.